Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know, my name is Silke Kaiser and I conduct voice polygraph testing. I've had the great honor of attending to many planned farm attacks as well as some farm attacks where the attack has already happened. That is always unfortunate. Today I want to discuss the meticulous planning of farm attacks. But before I do that, I do need to touch on what politicians are saying. The politicians that so readily scream, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, definitely have an impact on the violence and the bloodlust in which these farm attacks are being carried out. The blood is on their hands. Also, when they talk about the land issue, millions of hectares of land have been returned to the tribal authorities, and that land is standing fallow. So when these politicians spout out about the land issue, they are not stating the facts, and they are being very disingenuous, and they are lying to their followers. And when they finish talking, they go back to incredibly lavish lifestyles, far more lavish than mine, that's for sure. So let me talk about the hit squads today. From the minute that the hit squad, which are the people who carry out the atrocities, have decided this plan is going ahead based on information by the contact people. The contact people, let me remind you, are the employees who are involved in the planning. They are giving the information to the hit squad and they stand to gain something by it. Many times, a lot of the farm workers will know about the attack happening. It does not mean that they're involved. It is because the culture of farm workers is very cohesive and very advanced, and they always know what's going on. They are naturally curious and highly intelligent. Even if they are not educated through no fault of their own, because the apartheid legislation only had Bantu education for them, it does not mean that they are not super bright. I've never ever met a farm worker who has not impressed me with his high intelligence or her high intelligence. So once that plan is in place, the hit squad like to walk around the farm. They like to familiarize themselves. And it can take months to plan a farm attack, by the way. So what they do is they like to walk around the access roads around the farm, where nobody will ask them, what are you doing here? Because it is a public path. Sometimes the contact people, especially if they work inside the house, when the farmer and his family are not in the house, they will invite members of the hit squad to enter the house so that they can familiarize themselves further. This does not happen in every single situation. Sometimes in home invasions, this also happens. I always tell people, if you end up with people with guns in your house, do not lie to them and say you don't have a gun, you don't have a safe. Just tell them exactly where everything is. Assume they already know. So back to the hit squads. They also know the distance. So if they are going to enter the farm, let's say from the northern side, firstly, the point of entry can hold no jeopardy for them because the hit squad members are cowards. Their safety and security is always paramount. So what they will do is they will enter the farm from a safe point. They will know the distance, the exact distance from the point of entry of the parameter of the farm to the dwelling where they are going to commit the atrocities. They already know how they are going to enter because the information has been given to them. The information must be 100% accurate. If the contact people do not carry out the end of the bargain and do not give accurate information, they are playing with their own safety. I do discuss this in a previous video. The atrocities are also pre-planned. The rape, the murder, the torture. However, let's talk about rape. Rape is a very specific crime. It is an anger crime. It's an anger or a power thing. So a lot of the hit squad members, even though they will happily murder and torture, to rape, it's another thing. So sometimes when their rape is about to go ahead, the victim will say something that has stopped that rapist in his tracks. If I knew what you could say to every single would-be rapist, I would be a millionaire and I would give it to you for free, in fact. But I don't know what words would stop a rapist because some rapes do go ahead no matter what the victim says. So everything is already pre-planned. And I've already mentioned this, the hit squads is made up of South Africans and sometimes Zimbabweans or Malawians, etc. But often there are South Africans in that hit squad. And they, because they believe in witchcraft and the Sangoma, it is definitely part of their culture and definitely part of their upbringing, as God is part of my upbringing. So they will visit a Sangoma, and that Sangoma will give them muti, so that the farm attack is successful. They are incredibly superstitious. So sometimes when they enter a house, something will happen or something will not happen, that they change their mind. And if one person in the hit squad changes their mind about the murder, rape, or torture, they will all change their mind. When they visit the Sangoma will also give them dates of when, an auspicious date of when the farm attack would probably be successful. The Impimpis, the informants that speak to Lucas and give him the information, they always report that there is more than one date that is planned. And there's many dates, sometimes as many as 20 to 25, and it can be over a period of 3 months. So let's say, for example, they say that the attack can happen, let's say the 4th, the 5th, the 6th of October, then they might skip a day and say the 8th of October, the 9th of October, the 12th of October, carries on like that. Then we get to November, then we get to December. So there will be many dates in a month, and there's always more than one date, and there's always more than one time in a day. There's normally 2 times. So it can be early in the morning when the farmer's distracted because he's got to get the kids to school, etc. Or it can be at about 6 o'clock when the wife comes home. A lot of farmers' wives work. Or it can be at about 4 minutes past 12 or 4 minutes past 1. That's midnight and 1 a.m. The planning is also done over a period of months. The minute something changes in the home, the contact people will advise the hit squad of that change. The information is always 100% accurate. And woe betide them. Woe betide the contact people if they don't get it right. I do speak about this in another video about the cows. I need to talk about witchcraft as well. I've been on farms where I have been bewitched, and I'm still standing strong. Just want to tell you a story. The one time I went in Hoedspruit, I attended to a farm attack that was planned. And I do talk about this in my book. It was the farmer had 2 toy poms who were going insane every night. And the one night they barked and barked at the back door. And the back door, which had not been used in years, was funnily enough unlocked. The latch was slid open. And it was a husband and wife who were the contact people. That wife was fuming with me that I'd bust her, fuming. And in fact, the police were working with us on that day, and so was the security company. And as I led the police and the security company to where the lady and her husband lived, in their house, in their little house on the farm, she had spread newspaper over a very low table with dry plants, and on top of those dry plants was a monkey skull. And as I walked up, she didn't see the men behind me because I was marching on ahead. I'm A-type, so I walk very fast. And I saw the spell, and she threw her head back and screamed in a scream that should terrify me. So when you've been doing farm attacks as long as me, and you've been bewitched many times, very little scares you. I went right over to that table, and I swept that spell right off the table. And I told her, this spell will now be reversed. And she was really scared. They truly, truly believe in witchcraft. Whether witchcraft works or not, I cannot say. I'm sure there's many stories of where it has worked and many stories of where it hasn't. I'm very respectful of this belief unless I need it to use against them. So that's it for now. Good night.